You know something? This year has been a very good year for movies as far as I'm concerned. And it's continued to be with the latest James Bond film. Spectre was a hell of a lot of fun. I went and saw it yesterday. I had a hell of a time with this. This was great. This really was. Of course, Daniel Craig's fourth outing as James Bond. He's tied with Pierce Brosnan now in terms of the number of Bond films he's done. For me, it's been an interesting run because Casino Royale came out, of course, in 2006. I thought that was it was a solid movie, but it didn't feel like a Bond movie, in my opinion. But then I go back and think, you know what? I don't know if it was trying to be. I think Casino Royale, it was trying to be different. Quantum of Solace came out in 2008, of course. That, in my opinion, was a complete disaster. Then, 4 years later in 2012, we get Skyfall. That was a major improvement. It was. That was a great film. I really enjoyed that one. And you know something? This one, Skyfall, that is, it actually felt like a Bond movie. Spectre, we finally come to Spectre 3 years after Skyfall. This feels even more like a Bond movie. This was fun. This really was. If I was to rank them so far, I'd put Spectre at the top, I think. Then Skyfall, then Casino Royale, and then Quantum of Solace firmly at the bottom of the pile. Yeah, Spectre, this really felt like a Bond movie. This was fun. And we get a gun barrel at the beginning, finally. Been waiting all this time. Of course, in Quantum of Solace and Skyfall, we got the gun barrel at the end. Finally, here in Spectre, we get the gun barrel at the beginning. So it's really gone back to the traditional Bond formula in that respect, and I was pleased to see that. It had been something I'd been missing in the previous ones that Daniel Craig had done, but finally, here we go. We finally get the gun barrel at the beginning of the film after all this time, and it was great. But yeah, of course, this movie, as the title tells us, Bond's introduction to Spectre, the organisation that's hung over the original franchise like a shadow. Of course, almost all of Sean Connery's Bond films were, involved Spectre. Of course, Dr. No from Russia With Love, of course, very heavily. And then, of course, Blofeld showing up again and again throughout, You Only Live Twice, showed up in Diamonds Are Forever as well. And I've got, yeah, even Thunderball, So it was really going back to the roots of the original Bond movies in that respect. And why not? Because, Spectre is so much a part of what those original Bond films were about. It's nice to have it back in this. But of course, it's true to say that these new films have messed the whole timeline up. But of course, this movie, it's set before the Sean Connery Bond films, so this really is James Bond's introduction to this organisation. Yeah. So basically, Bond finds out about it, and if obviously finds that finds out how connected they are. World domination. They're well on the way to achieving it, and of course, he's got to bring this organisation down. Christoph Waltz, of course, is the head of the organisation. Because why wouldn't he be? It's Christoph Waltz. So, of course, he's the main villain of the piece. Dave Bautista, of course, is in the movie as one of his henchmen. The name of his character is Mr. Hinks. Bautista's really good in this. There's a scene later on in the film where Daniel Craig and him are on a train and they have a huge fight scene. It's kind of a callback to the fight scene between Sean Connery and Robert Shaw in From Russia with Love. It's a very good fight scene. It's close. I think Daniel Craig bit off a bit more than he could chew in Bautista. It's a very good fight. The action sequences, as you can probably expect in this movie, are phenomenal. The whole opening sequence, the pre-title sequence in Mexico City, is fantastic. It really is. It got a great music score during that scene. The music score in this, if you look at the reviews for the CD, like on somewhere like Amazon, it's been getting mixed reviews. This is true. I thought for the most part it was very good, but one of the highlights of the soundtrack was the music in that pre-title sequence. It's brilliant because it takes place while this festival. It's on the Day of the Dead in Mexico, and there's this festival going on in the city, and you've got this great drum beat going, and it's got that really pounding, driving force to it. So when Bond is following this guy through the street, during this parade, it's got that real driving force to it, and it really gets you pumped. As soon as the film starts, like, all right, let's go. But yeah, the opening, the pre-title sequence was one of the highlights of the film. It's very good. We've got some good humour in this as well throughout the film. It's nice that they brought that back, because obviously Daniel Craig much darker. You can't, I think they made the mistake of going too dark. I don't know if dark's the right word. Too serious, I think, is better in Casino Royale than from what I can remember of Quantum of Solace. Quantum of Solace I've only seen in the theatre. I didn't feel the need to go revisit it again. Mind you, there was a bus trip to Lourdes which I was on back in 2010, where the bus driver decided he was going to put the film on the TV. But I didn't watch that. I just sat there while the movie played. That was the best I could do. Of course, Skyfall, that was a major step in the right direction, I thought, in bringing some of that old humour back from the originals, and that continues here. Because Daniel Craig, it would be fair to compare him to Timothy Dalton's Bond, but in Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, I think they made the mistake of going too serious with Daniel Craig. Because even though Timothy Dalton was more of a serious Bond, of course, he did still have his light-hearted moments, particularly in Living Daylight. There's some parts of that which are, some of the one-liners in that. But yeah, it looks as though they've got the balance right with Daniel Craig now. I mean, I'll confess, I'm not the biggest fan of Daniel Craig as James Bond. I like him as an actor. I really loved Cowboys and Aliens, but him as James Bond, not sure. However, I will concede that in Skyfall and this movie, Spectre, he's done a very good job. He really has. Yeah, this movie was great. I don't want to talk through the film. I don't want to give anything away because it's such a great movie. But I will say that I highly recommend it. Like I say, great storyline, great action sequences, really nice locations. Again, one of those prime examples where you can see the money on screen. It's visually stunning. Great performance by Daniel Craig. He does really well. Ralph Fiennes, now he's took over as the new M. He does a really good job in this. He really, really does. Christoph Waltz as the lead villain is absolutely brilliant. Obviously, thought he was great in Inglourious Bastards. Thought he was even better in Django Unchained. Here he does a really great job as the villain, and Batista is really good as the action sequences he has with Daniel Craig are just brilliant. They have a huge car chase at one point. They have, well, technically two car chases really. And then obviously the huge fist fight they have on the train. It's really good. That was, again, another highlight of the film, was that fight on the train between Batista and Daniel Craig. But you know what, from what I've said, sorry to go back to this, I've talked multiple times about the Highlander remake that's going to happen. Obviously it looks as though Batista's going to play the Kurgan in the movie. Can't wait to see that now, because I was thinking, if he's good in Spectre, he's going to be great as the Kurgan. Yeah, from what I've seen of him in Spectre, I think he's going to be an awesome Kurgan, so even more excited for that now after seeing this. But yeah, Batista was really good in this. Everyone involved, they've done a really good job of, they always do such a good job of, maintaining the standard, making each one bigger and better. Now, Skyfall was massive, of course, but they've done a good job with this movie, Spectre, of living up to that, They've maintained the standard here. So, if you were a big fan of Skyfall and were wondering if this one is going to be as good, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I think you're going to be pleased, yeah. Another nice little bit, again, not a spoiler, because got to be careful, but you'll be pleased to know the Aston Martin DB5 is back. Of course, they brought it back in Skyfall, was unceremoniously destroyed at the end of the movie, but you'll be pleased to know they bring it back in this movie. Yeah, Q Branch repairs it, you'll be pleased to know. Yeah, so the classic car's back. The Bond car to rule them all is back in this film. So, and then in addition to that, we of course have the new model of the Aston Martin, which they use in this movie as well. So, best of both worlds. You've got the classic one, and now you've got the new one. Okay, can't ask for better than that. So yeah, this movie was a hell of a lot of fun, that's all I can say. Genuinely great, and it's just really fun. It's been getting good reviews so far, and hey, I think it deserves it. It deserves all the good words it's been getting. So I recommend this. Some really great action sequences in the movie, great stunt work, and just really solid story, really solid plot, and just really great performances and great locations, great production values as well, and can't wait for the next one. Yeah, I might get a bit of heat for this, but I've got to say, because it's an important aspect of the Bond films, what the particular theme song is going to be for that movie. You've had some really brilliant Bond songs over the years. Even the one for Skyfall that Adele did, that was good. But then if you go back into the classic films, Living Daylights and License to Kill for Timothy Dalton. Roger Moore had a lot of great Bond songs during his run. All Time High, A View to a Kill, the first, and maybe, I don't know if it's still the only one, but certainly the first Bond song to get to #1, A View to a Kill by Duran Duran. For Your Eyes Only by Sheena Easton, that's a lovely one, And obviously Sean Connery's Bond songs, Diamonds Are Forever, that was great. You Only Live Twice by Nancy Sinatra, great. But where I'm going with this is the Bond song for this movie by Sam Smith, The Writing's on the Wall. I couldn't get away with it. Didn't like it. So that kind of was one of the few criticisms I have for this. Yeah, I just wish they'd picked a different song, you know, and maybe someone else. But hey, this is just me. I've heard other people say that they really like this song, and fair, hey, you can have it. I don't want to take that away from you. But for me, yeah, it's one of the few criticisms I have about this movie. I didn't like the Bond song for this one. But hey, yeah, there's been Bond songs in the past that I haven't liked, but I didn't really like Goldeneye that Tina Turner did. Hey, I loved the movie. I loved the movie. Um, didn't like the song. I'd hate there to be any confusion there. Love the film, hate the song. Yeah, I didn't really like Goldeneye either. The ending song for the film that Eric Serra did, The Experience of Loving You, that was fine. I enjoyed that song, but opening song, Goldeneye by Tina Turner, not for me. But, so this isn't, I'm not saying that, this is the worst Bond song ever done, that Sam Smith's just done. No, I'm not saying that at all. There's been disappointing Bond songs in the past, so I don't want to be unfair to Sam Smith. All I'm saying is, yeah, I just wish they'd picked a better song for this movie. But apart from that, this was just so much fun. So if you do that, that pretty much brings this to a close. I highly recommend it, and I can't wait to see the next one. So yeah, if you guys have been to see it, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you agree with some of the points that I've made. If you were debating whether to go see it, I hope this review's helped you out, and if you do decide to go, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you had as much fun with it as I had. There's a bit at the beginning in the pre-title sequence in Mexico City where certain things happen. It's one of those, where everything just seems to be going perfectly for Bond in it. It's just Bond being Bond. He does everything perfectly. So, and you just think, oh, it's gonna be one of those kind of films, where it's just gonna be just so much fun to watch. But yeah, if you do decide to go, I hope you enjoy it. And if you've seen it already, I hope you loved it just as much as I did. So that pretty much brings us to a close. Yes, I recommend this highly. I'd be more than willing to go back and see it in the theatre again. I'll definitely get it when it comes out on Blu-ray. But yeah, that brings us to a close. I really dug the hell out of this movie, and I hope you guys do too. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for sticking with me, and I shall see you all next time. Thank you, everyone.